I feel it is unusual for a band of what the Tex Fillet Five are. It's five guys. They've got the drums, they've got the double bass, an electric guitar. I mean, you very rarely see that on any street. Not a lot, you know. Prince's Street is where you do see it now because they are there, but you very rarely see it anywhere else.
That's it. In the summer, like in the festival, when the weather's sort of good and there's a lot of tourists about, then you can get like really good crowds, you know, like 200 people, you know, and like, yeah, obviously really enjoy it, yeah.
Playing in the street as, I mean, obviously as the front man, it's a good ego trip for me. I mean, it's a good laugh. You know, and I like sort of having a good sort of rap, the old age pensioners and sort of kids, and we've had some really good laughs, like with sort of, especially where kids have been involved dancing a bit. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, I enjoy it immensely. Other times, like with, you know, with a major hangover, like it can be a real hassle. But I mean, the whole idea was to make as much money as we could in the street to keep the ball rolling as far as boonie acts was concerned. So a bit, generally, yeah, it's great. You know, it's really funny most of the time.
For years, I've been talking for myself. I've been playing, sort of learning sort of different types of music, just jamming away, like thrashing away on the guitar. And it's not no fun, it's always hard work. You know, you're trying to be a musician or something. And it's, when you actually get a chance to have a good time, just play music which a lot of people can relate to from different generations, it's great.
Well, the reason the Tex Fillet got together was to make some money through busking to fund another band which the members of Tex Fillet are involved in, the band called Boonie Rats. We asked a friend who plays guitar if he would come along and help us out in that. That was Clive, who plays Levan with the hat and the suit and the guitar licks and everything. It was a case of us getting together in a bedroom, rehearsing 6 numbers, enough to take out and actually play in front of some people, which we did at quite a leisurely pace. The music being a mixture of country and western, rockabilly, some songs from the 60s, which we cared to do in our own inimitable fashion. We were quite surprised really by the reaction that took place, in as much as a lot of people became very enthusiastic about what we were doing and the way we were approaching it, which was very loosely based. Hardly any rehearsal went into it, a case of just playing the numbers live and getting them sounding and feeling good for ourselves more than anyone else. So we were really out there enjoying it 2 years ago, getting this great reaction, and as it happens making a lot of money, which was great for the other band. It really did help with the expenses and the overheads, like I say.
We were playing in another band and we basically started the busking thing to finance the other band. That was initially why it started up. So it just sort of took off from there. You know, we ended up playing a few places as well as doing the busking, and it was working out quite well, so it just turned into a band in itself.
Everybody trying. Everybody trying.
We were moved on. We were at the east end of Princes Street this day, and just the usual busking away. and a police officer came over, and he was obviously high ranking because he had the scrambled egg on his hat. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he wasn't very keen on the band doing what they were doing. His main excuse was we were blocking the pavement and people were standing on the road, which was true in fact, but it wasn't too bad, and people did move in, but he just wasn't having any of it, and he moved us on. Subsequently, we wrote to Edinburgh District Council just to find out if it was legal or illegal to busk, and we got the green light from them saying as long as you're not obstructing or causing any obstruction, go ahead.
They were victims of their own success, really. I mean, they are a good busking group, and because they were so good, they attracted crowds, and because they attracted crowds, they also created a disturbance or an obstruction in the area they were standing, and the police obviously had no option but to move them on. Not because they wanted to move them on, but for a simple reason that they were creating a disturbance. Sorry, not a disturbance, I'll rephrase that. They were creating an obstruction, and therefore had to be moved.
Yeah, I was in a lot of bands, and performing, it's a completely different thing from busking, I found. I only busked a couple of times, and I found it was totally different. I mean, you're in the street, it's the people passing, you've got to think and change with them. Whereas performance, you more or less have a set thing that you do. And I don't know. It varied a lot. I mean, there was buskers who perform, and in Amsterdam especially, which is where I came across a lot of buskers, there were the guys who would make £100 a day each in the streets at the weekends, no problem at all, which is a lot more than we made playing in the clubs. But there was an agreement in Amsterdam between the club owners that you either played the streets or you played the clubs. But there was the other end of that. There were other people who called themselves buskers who mainly sat around the central station and played Blowing in the Wind, like 25 years after, still playing Blowing in the Wind, just hoping enough money to buy dope, basically, I suppose.
The whole busking thing, when we first started doing it, obviously we were pretty sort of reticent about reaction and also our own capabilities actually playing in the street, because I mean it was just so totally different from anything we'd ever done before. But not so much this festival, but last festival, we were out maybe 2-3 months prior to the festival starting, which is really when we actually got the sort of act together as such, got the songs together. Regarding the sort of practice element, there wasn't really that much practice involved. We just sat in a house for a couple of days, got the tunes together, and actually went out and performed them in the street. And at first, it was pretty horrendous, really, the actual sound or whatever. But I mean, round about by the time the festival came, I suppose we peaked to a certain extent. We'd obviously got used to actually playing in front of fairly large crowds. Excuse me. And I mean, as a result, I mean, the money, that festival, just rolled in. It was plenty of sort of crowds, maybe 100, 150 people or whatever.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yo, hey, I'm jumping ham. Oh, hey, Georgie, hey, yeah.
The Tex Fillet's image really came about through the music itself, the country and western rockabilly thing. We chose the hillbilly angle on it because we thought it looked interesting. It's funny as well. I guess we just enjoyed dressing up, like that.
One day I saw this shop in London Street, London Road, and it was a sort of new country western shop, and they had this hat was on display. I thought, oh, I've got to buy that. And I had this shirt, I had it a few years ago, and just thought I'd wear it with a suit and look a bit like sort of your sort of grand old opera type, and just took it from there.
Well, I mean, there's the two things, there's the classical music and also the kind of stuff we were playing, obviously, was more like your rockabilly and country and western. So it seemed a good thing to go for rather than just go for an electric bass. You know, it was something that obviously would make more of an impression.
Quite good. I like the first song, but that one was a bit repetitive on a bit. Try to figure out what the words meant most of the time.
I think more people should do it because it's the atmosphere like in London. Everybody does something, so I really enjoyed it.
They're quite good, original.
Yeah.
I like that kind of music.
We haven't seen this kind of performance in Taiwan. We come from Taiwan, so this is very interesting for us.
On Monday morning I go down to the bank and usually walk in. We take two of the bags out or something like that. The guy obviously thinks that is you know, that's what I'm going to be handing in, but little does he know that in my bag there's another about 50 other bags of 2p coins, sometimes if we're lucky maybe a couple of bags of pound coins, very occasionally. So I'm there about 15 minutes actually getting all the bags out and putting them on the counter. But this time the guy's looking severely sort of. And usually I've never counted it right on a Sunday, and the poor guy has to count it all again, which takes about another hour, and I'm sort of standing there while he's giving it that, and I've got a queue of people behind me all looking at me as if they're going to kill me when I get inside. And I'm sure every time I go in on Monday morning it's the same guy or same lassie as I see me and I think, not him again, try and get out and get somebody else to do it. Because it's quite funny, but that's rock and roll.
Now if I was to change this life I would be Johnny Tomato Seed, 'cause I know what this country needs. Hung tomatoes every yard you see. Well, when I die, don't bury me in a box in our cemetery. Out in the garden, I lay my spare, and I can push up homegrown tomato. Homegrown tomato, homegrown tomato. The only two things that's true love. Homegrown tomato, homegrown tomato. How will I be without homegrown? The only two things that money can buy, that's true love. Homegrown tomato.
Boonie Rats, with the exception of one member, is a completely different band. Although it is the same folk involved, it is a totally different band. The music and the whole organisation of it is totally different. And the money from the Tex Fillet Five, we're hoping to put most of that back in to doing recording work with the Boonie Rats and various other things that go with that, such as eventually maybe video work.
The main reason I work with Tex Fillet is obvious that it does make money for Boonie Rats. What I really want to see from Boonie Rats is that they're not a chart band. They're never going to, I'm sure the boys will agree with me, that we're not a teeny boppler band. I think really what we want is we want a record deal. Who doesn't? We're good enough to get a record deal. I suppose it's up to me in a sense to get that record deal.
The Bunny Rats are going to go into the studio 4 weeks' time, demo 2 songs. As I said, we've done the single, which was last year. The year before that we did like a 3-song demo that cost £100, poor quality, but for the money, like fairly good quality. This time we want to just concentrate on 2 songs, spend £500 to maybe £600, virtually totally financed by the Tex Fillet Five. Make a really good job of it.
Inverness.
Aye, we were up in Inverness once. It was hilarious.
What happened to
that was it.
The woman with the sort of who danced with Glenn.
Oh, your dancing friend on it.
Yeah. She also rifled my underwear.
Yeah, we got moved on by a rather, I don't know, concerned counsellor with regards a sort of woman's behaviour with regards our beloved frontman.
She began to dance with him basically.
She was transfixed by my front.
In a rather sort of lewd and suggestive way, and it was kind of taken more literally than I think it was meant.
Yeah. Because the copper came up and says, right, where's your dancer and all that?
He thought it was part of the band.
He thought it was part of the act.
But the counsellor just had
I was quite relieved it wasn't part of the act. It was possibly one of the most unnatural acts I've ever seen.
Well, I think it's great that they go out and play, which sounds like the usual hackneyed phrase from one who doesn't, but I just hope that, you know, they're very natural, they're playing what they want, and I just hope that they can hang on to that when the image men and the money men get hold of them, because that's what the music business is. During the period of rock music, the musicians have only controlled the business very briefly, 63 odd, around 67, 68, and in the mid-70s. And the rest of the time it's been the business, and I wish them luck, you know.
I will make a living out of music. I will do it with Bunny Rats. I will do it with my own creative energies and my own idea of sound and what I want to do with my own music. I'd like it very much to involve the members with Bunny Rats, but because I greatly believe in music, that it's up to the individuals to exert themselves to their limits and to their efforts. I can only hope that the other members of Bunny Rats see enough about what I'm trying to do with music to adhere to that, and both myself adhere to what they will try to achieve with music. But because it is a very personal thing, then that's a thing which is to be developed in the long term. At the short term, Bunny Rats is very comfortable. It's got its short-term recording plans all sorted out, and things are moving along nicely with the band.
Well, yeah, it's not a business you can make a lot of money out of, because we're not like pop stars. It's not like a recording band or anything. It's a lot of fun, and that's all we're in it for. So I've got a little sort of hamburger stand. I run at the moment, trying to make some money from that. It's taking off. I also do a bit of graphic work. I did Bunny Rats album cover, well, a design idea which other graphic artists developed. Do a lot of posters for the band and some cartoon strips, but that's not a great money maker either. So it's just what comes, you know. But the main thing I'm trying to make money from is this hamburger stand. But that's just a living.
Well, the reason that I originally got involved doing this sort of thing is through my friend DC D'Souza, a close friend of mine in school, whom was a singer-songwriter, but that was basically all he was. And he was basically all he performed to was people in his living room. I got involved with a friend of mine, and we sort of brought him out of his living room, got him a band, and started doing the gigs. And it was basically, it sounds naive now, and it definitely was naive, but it was a love of the music, and it was nothing to do with money. Which I hope in years to come, if I'm ever still involved in the music business, it will never be always to do with money. It will be for the love of doing it. Obviously money is important, but that's not going to be the main reason, hopefully.
I mean, I would like to think I can make a living as a musician, but mean, that's open to fate, really. I certainly think we're good enough. Well, not really on the subject of Tex Fillet Five, but more on the Binny Rats side. You know, I mean, there's sort of certainly some good music in it. But in saying that, I think we've all been incredibly lazy over the past couple of years. It's taken an awful long time to sort of get off the grind. The Tex Fillet Five is actually probably, I wouldn't say improved, but actually gone further than the Binny Rats have. You know, I mean, people probably regard us as, oh, they're the guys that are involved in the Tex Fillet Five, but very few people actually know about the Binny Rats, and that we've only played maybe a handful of gigs, mainly in Edinburgh, a couple out with Edinburgh. We did a single which flopped completely. Whereas like we're playing with the Tex Fillet Five like sort of fairly regularly. Well, we're busking sort of all summer, and then like sort of in the winter season, you know, like we're just sort of playing in bars and things like that. But I mean, I would certainly hope, you know, that we could do something musically with the Binny Rats. The Tex Fillet Five is secondary to that. But I mean, it certainly wouldn't come as any surprise if we ended up playing in the Queen Elizabeth II or something as the Tex Fillet Five, you know, like for 2 months or whatever. And I would love to like do some busking abroad as well, you know, maybe for a summer or something like that. But I mean, it's all dependent on basically what happens with the Binny Rats, and that's the sort of primary objective.
The most important thing is really just to enjoy it. I hope myself that we'll get records out. I think that's the most important thing. I think beyond that, you're daft to look any further. You just concentrate on actually getting things out in a concrete kind of form and see what happens then.
I'm begging of you, please don't take me back. Doreen, 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 Doreen. Please don't take him while he's with this band. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flowing locks of pubic hair, big red eyes and specks of wide-eyed limbs. Flashes like a barking dog, your hand resembles that of a hog. We cannot compete with you, Doreen. Doreen! He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying, but he calls you my Doreen. Doreen! Can you easily understand how you could easily take me down? You don't know what it means, no, I'm Doreen. Doreen! Doreen! Doreen, Doreen, I'm begging of you, please don't take me down. Doreen, 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 please don't take him. Whoa, he's with the bound. This is why, folks. I can do to keep from crying, but it calls you right Doreen. Now we can easily understand how you can easily take me in. You don't know what it means to I'm Doreen. Doreen, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take me in. Doreen, 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 please don't take him while he's with our band. Doreen, 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 Doreen. Thank you.